welcome to Starlight, and the last name's gonna be Starbright for my show because I haven't got to that part yet. But we're reacting to Draw Myself into 3 Disney movies screen. So this is gonna be fun. I'm subscribing because who doesn't wanna? So please subscribe to my channel down below. And I said in my video, but it had to get canceled because it wasn't working, that I will do a face reveal at 20 subscribers. So please get me 20. Because I'm new and I'm only doing 2 videos right now. I'm going to make more Gacha Life videos and hopefully you like them. So yeah, let's get on with the video more and more.
And 2 is The Emperor's New Groove. The
Oh, I
scene
love
I
that
chose is the one where Kuzco is rejecting all of his marriage candidates. I happened to pause at this moment and I thought I could draw myself right here in this
Oh yeah, that
empty
would be
spot.
a different one.
Also, can I just say I love the expressions of these girls back here?
Oh yeah, I love
I'm gonna
that.
punch that jerk. No, please don't.
Oh yeah,
Anyways,
that's my
I need
girl.
a character to use as my base. So
Sorry.
I took another screenshot when the girls were standing more in a line, and I thought I would use this girl as my base. So I select her and copy and paste her to the other screenshot. In case you've never seen me draw myself into screenshots before, I like to use pre-existing characters as a base for my drawing. That way I can replicate the style of the animation and not just draw in my style. It keeps me from throwing in my own personal preferences and helps me stay true to the style. Also, this is just for fun and I'm not trying to deceive people or claim this as my own. The point of saying all this is that I just don't want you to get mad at me for tracing. Now that the base is ready to go, I outline the edge of the girl in front of me. That way I know where I need to stop drawing. My character is behind this girl, so I don't want my art to overlap her. Now I make my canvas blank, lower the opacity of my base, and sketch over it. During the sketching process, I customize the base to include more of my features. Also, if you don't know what I look like, here's a picture of myself. For my expression, I thought I would draw myself looking disappointed because many of the other girls seem sad that Kuzco turned them down. I was going to give myself earrings, but I don't have my ears pierced, so I won't be including those. All of the girls look pretty similar, so I wanted to draw myself in a way where it does kind of look like me, but also doesn't look too different from the other girls. I don't want to stick out and look totally different from them, or else my cover will be blown. It would be really obvious that I don't belong here. So I chose this scene because honestly, it felt like kind of the only scene I could place myself into. I was scanning through the whole movie, and so much of it is just Pacha and Kuzco in the forest, or Yzma and Kronk doing Yzma and Kronk things. And for most scenes, it just wouldn't make sense for me to be plopped into it. So yeah, this was the only scene that seemed like it would make sense for me to be placed into. So like I mentioned earlier, I drew myself looking disappointed because many of the other girls were disappointed. But then I started thinking to myself,
I don't think I would be disappointed if I was.
And react if Kuzco didn't want to marry me. And honestly,
I would be glad.
Probably be kind of relieved. No offense to Kuzco, but yeah, I feel like maybe I'd be kind of happy I wouldn't be forced to marry him. So I decided to change my face to kind of a phew kind of expression, like I'm letting out a sigh of relief. So after the sketch details are in place, I start working on the line art. When I was studying the line art, I noticed that it uses many different colors, and the colors change depending on what the lines are outlining. So I selected a whole bunch of different colors from the line art, and I changed the color of my line art depending on what I'm outlining. The Emperor's New Groove has always been one of my favorite Disney movies ever since I was a kid. I watched it so many times when I was young, and I still really enjoy it. It's such a funny movie, and all of the characters are really hilarious. When I was scanning the movie for scenes to draw myself into, I kept watching random scenes. I would be like, oh, I like this scene, and I would end up watching it. So yeah, if you've never watched The Emperor's New Groove, do yourself a favor and go watch it.
Hey, subscribers.
It's one of my favorites. For the
subscribers, I want to tell you the Emperor's New Groove is actually really good, and you should watch it sometime, but if you're not allowed to, that's fine, it's fine. So, let's get on with the video.
Coloring, I basically just had to select colors from within the screenshot and slightly change them to fit my character. One part that was tricky was my skin. All of the girls are pretty tan, and I'm super pale. So I was trying to make myself more pale without making myself stand out a ton. I made my skin tone a bit lighter, but not very much. But if I did live in the Emperor's New Groove, I would probably spend more time outside instead of being inside all the time like a hermit.
Actually, that looks like
So
it
maybe
belongs
I
there
would
a
be more
tiny
tan.
bit.
So I wear glasses, and at first I wasn't going to have my characters wear glasses because I thought it might make me stand out too much. But it just didn't quite feel like me without my glasses.
Yeah, me
So I added
neither,
some
girl. Me
gold-rimmed
neither.
glasses.
I have glasses,
It does make me a bit different from the rest of the
but
girls.
it doesn't look
but
like
I
me.
felt
I
like
have
it
short
was
hair.
needed.
Well, I
The
guess
last
that's
thing I
due
do
to
is blur
my
out my art a bit so that
hair.
it fits
I
with the
have
rest of
short
the image.
hair.
Whenever
Like
I take
men hair, but I'm a
screenshots
girl.
of older animations, they tend to be a lower resolution. So to help me fit in, I always need to blur out my art a bit. And here's me in the Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, I think
It
it would
was
be
fun
there.
drawing myself into one of my favorite Disney movies. Also, it amuses me how it looks like Cusco is referencing to me.
Oh yeah, girl, we have all of those. Oh, please no more ads, bro. Right, subscribers, we hate
If you
the
like
ads.
trying out different outfits and going to
Bro.
different places, but don't really want to leave your house, we have the perfect game for you. Meet Purinista.
That
So,
Cusco
yeah.
is referencing to me. The
So,
second
subscribers,
movie I'm going to draw
hate
myself
ads.
into is an extremely goofy movie. I
Bro,
wanted to
why
include
do
a
I
movie that
actually
featured
like all
the
these
Mickey Mouse
shows
cast
right
of
now?
characters, and an extremely goofy movie was one of my favorites as a kid, so I chose this one.
Later, I'll do
So
a
the
singing
scene I'll be
video,
drawing
everyone.
myself into is where Goofy shows up at Max's college class, and as you can see, Max is not very happy about it. So I thought I could place myself right here. This looks like a nice empty spot. Now I just need to find my base. There's this girl, but her head gets clipped off from the edge of the screen. So I wasn't able to find a base in that scene. So I went to one that happens a few seconds
Ooh,
before.
cool,
And I thought
cool.
maybe with some editing, I could use this character.
Oh, she's
So I
pretty.
copy her into my first screenshot. And then I flip her to
It's
face the
nice.
other way. And change the way her head is tilted. I also fill in some of the areas with color, and now my base is ready to go. I never really hear people talk about an extremely goofy movie. It is a sequel, so that might be why. The first movie is a Goofy movie, which I somehow never really watched as a kid. I don't know, it's one of the ones my parents didn't have on VHS, so I kind of just never watched that
Okay,
one.
I
I
like
did
it.
recently watch it when it was playing on TV, and I do remember partially watching it maybe once or twice as a kid, but it wasn't one that I watched a ton of times. So yeah, I didn't watch the first Goofy movie very many
Yeah,
times,
me neither.
but
I
I watched
never
the
watched
sequel
the first
so
one.
many times when I was a kid. Now that I think about it, I don't think we owned this movie. I think we would rent it from the library. When I was
Yeah, I
a
like
kid, my
this.
mom would often take my siblings and I to rent movies from the library. And each of us would get to pick a handful of movies to watch, and it was always really fun.
Anyway,
So
guys,
yeah, I really enjoyed this
this is
movie as
not
a kid. I always
this
thought it
girl's
was
video,
really
it's
funny.
mine.
Now that the sketch is done,
And I
can
just
do
learned
the
how to
line
make a
art. The line art for
nickname.
the Extremely Goofy movie is pretty simple. It's just an off black color. So I didn't need to keep switching colors like I did with The Emperor's New Groove. For this movie, I had way more scene options that I could draw myself into. There are a lot of background characters and college students since this movie takes place mostly out of college. This scene is a pretty prominent one and is one I always remember, so I think that's why I went with this one. I
Okay,
kept
this
feeling
is
really
pretty good, right,
nostalgic while
people?
working on all of these. Disney movies were definitely
Right?
a big part of my
Right,
childhood.
my little,
For my character design, once
right,
again,
my
I have
little
my
bright
glasses,
stars, right?
and I decided to make
Right,
my hair
right.
part be off to the side. I tend to switch my hair part between the middle and the side, and I kind of just part my hair wherever I feel like it. So sometimes I draw myself with a middle part, or sometimes I draw myself
Right.
with a side part. In this
Right,
case, my base had a
everybody,
side
right?
part, so I did the same part as my base. And for my outfit, I drew myself wearing a sweater with a little collar. I like to wear shirts with collars a lot in real life. So for the coloring, I just need to fill in the base colors. There's no shading, so that makes the coloring
Everybody,
process very
I have a
simple.
question.
I'm used to drawing myself into animes,
If
and there's usually a decent
I'm
amount of
gonna
shading
tell
I
you
need
some
to apply to
questions.
myself. But But for all of these Disney movie scenes, there wasn't really much for shading, so that made the process pretty fast.
Everyone, I want to ask a few questions. Can you put blue hearts if you want to become friends, purple hearts if we're already friends, and a green heart, actually a brown heart if you never want to be friends with me, okay? I'm sorry. And this is my beginning, okay?
Oh, but towards the end, I made some adjustments to my face. I made the nose smaller. Because of my glasses, my face felt really crowded, so I thought maybe by making my nose smaller, it would help me feel less busy. I also made my irises a bit smaller because I accidentally made them too big. It's kind of a force of habit, I guess. I'm used to making the irises super big and shiny. And here's me in an extremely goofy movie. I'm used to drawing in anime and manga-inspired styles, so it's fun trying out these different styles. Last but not least, we have one of my favorite Disney princess movies, The Little Mermaid. I wasn't sure if I should make myself a human or a mermaid. And as I was looking through scenes, I thought maybe I could draw myself as a maid into the scene where Ariel is going to eat dinner with Eric. For my base, I'm going to use Ariel. This is when she is walking in and Prince Eric sees her all dressed up. I liked the pose that she was doing with her arms, so I thought it would be a good base. Also, Madame Carlotta is looking a little creepy in the background. So I bring in my base and outline where the table is so I know where I need to stop drawing so I don't go over the table. Also, I'm going to use Madame Carlotta as a reference because I'm going to be wearing the same outfit as her since we are both maids or servants. So now I'm drawing over Ariel. I try to kind of change the features a bit so I don't look just like Ariel.
I love that.
So you may notice that my expression is a bit nervous or maybe like I'm faking a smile. So Prince Eric is my favorite Disney prince. So I imagine that if I lived in the Little Mermaid universe, I would be a bit sad to see that Prince Eric has found a girl that he's. The Little Mermaid has always been one of my favorite Disney princess movies since I was a kid. I always kind of remember watching it, and I remember really liking The Little Mermaid too. I know some people don't really like The Little Mermaid too, but it's one of my favorites and I always really like it. I loved Melody as a kid. She was like one of my favorite characters. I haven't actually watched The Little Mermaid 2 in a really long time, but after doing this, I kind of want to go back and watch it. For the coloring, once again,
I think that's really nice
pale,
everyone.
but the colors just stuck out a lot, so I used the eyedropper tool to select Ariel's skin tone and applied it to myself. In all of these movies, I'm just a little bit more tan than I am in real life. And lastly, I blur out my art a little, and we are finished. Here's me in The Little Mermaid. It was a lot of fun trying something new and drawing in different Disney styles. Like I mentioned, if you have any suggestions for what you would like to see me draw myself into, please let me know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. It helps my channel out a lot. So that is all for this video, but before we end, I want to take a moment to thank my wonderful patrons over on Patreon for supporting my work.
Well, everyone, we're finished with that. Hope you have a great thing. Hope you have a great time watching my videos, and have a good day.